Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So, today I'm going to review Rio Blast. I figured, it's probably time I review Rio Blast because I've made so many customs with him. So here's the figure right here, and I was really hoping that he'd have a real name that actually was not Rio Blast, but you can see his real name is Realist Blast. So I was hoping he'd have something like Duncan or, like Man at Arms has, or, I don't know, Franklin. I don't know. Something else besides just the same thing, because as you know, I made a pre robotic version of him. So, anyway, here's the figure right here. I went ahead and I already have one open. I don't want to open that one right now. And here's what the figure looks like when you first get him. Now, there's some interesting things. One is he has all these weapons that pop out. It'll be like a surprise thing, almost like King His. Surprise! And blah, 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 right? But some interesting things is one, the gun on the head just does not line up with the eyes very well. So that's one of the things you have to fix right away when you first get the figure. So I found that these little notches right here, they actually inhibit this from sitting down lower. And some people have gotten rid of some of these too. If you get rid of just these though, just aim it down lower and not actually fix the problem directly. Another thing I've done to fix the issue is I've actually altered the inside of his head. Let me show you. Ugh. If you take a look at the head, you can see that I've actually made the hole kind of oblong shaped so that it goes forward easier. So that his head can tilt back higher so he's not always looking down. And I only did it just on one of them, just the one that I put the gun in the back so I can sit back. Let me go ahead and swap the gun out with the one I've already altered. I like to keep one set of things that are completely unaltered just so that I can go back and look and compare with the ones that are altered versus the ones that aren't. So here's the altered one. First thing I did was I painted some silver paint where the front is to kind of give it a cool, like almost like it's see-through-ish or something else, or some kind of visor type thing. And then of course, as I mentioned earlier, I cut out those notches right there. You can see how the notches are kind of cut out. Let's compare them side by side. So here's the one that's not been altered, and here's the one that's been altered. And it just allows that gun just to sit just a little bit lower. So you can see this one right here is kind of trapped because of those parts, and this one right here, I made it so that once you close it, you can just lower it again, and then it sits just that extra quarter-inch lower so that it will fit lower on his head. You can see the difference of on the back of how that opening is right there, and it's not on the other one. So it just makes it sit a little lower. And then with his head being able to tilt back, it now makes it so it fits better on the figure. Alright, so that is the first fix. Put it on, lower it down, make sure it's on his back all the way. And the nice part is his head goes up. So now his eyes line up with his visor. So it looks like he's actually using the overhead display. Alright, the next flaw in this feature that a lot of people didn't like was the fact that when you close his chest, he has this piece right here where the gun hooks up that does not allow it to close all the way. So he has this gap that's always visible and it's always in the way. So for those of you that go to Hebrew.com, I'm sure you've seen my fix for this. My fix was to take and make little holes right here, put some silver tape behind it to allow it to sit back there. Now, other people have sanded this off. You can do that as well. If you have more than one figure, I would suggest sanding it off. In retrospect, I kind of wish I did that now, but it's okay. I do have extra armors I could use if I choose to change it. All right, and legs, same way. Once the weapon comes off, then when you go to fold it up, then of course the bump is in the way on the leg and hits right here. Okay. I think I might have ended up gluing those in a while ago just so that they wouldn't keep falling off all the time. So here is my Rio Blast ready for war. Another thing on this figure is the sides are so large that he can't put his arms down very well. So his arms are always sticking out, especially on this side. This side is larger than the other side for some reason. I'm not sure why it's that way, but when they created it, they made this side extra large. And of course, that side has all the detail with the cables running back and forth, so a little bit harder to fix. And I will show you my new fixed unweaponized version of Rio Blast. So let's set him over here. There's the original with just some slight alterations. And here is my Ultra Rio Blast. There we go. So here he is without weaponry, but he still has his cybernetics. You can see the hole I was talking about that folds right up into. So it closes just about all the way. You can push it closed. On the legs, I did sand off the pegs. My first version, I actually sanded them just a little bit so it could still sit on there. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just sand them all the way so it sits. Now this one does keep flopping out a little bit. That's one bad part about it. But it still looks way better. And of course I used a BraveStarr hat because, as some of you know, I'm kind of a BraveStarr fan. And the BraveStarr hat works really good. So now he looks like Marshal BraveStarr. So there we go. Oh, I also fixed the sides. I just did a quick fix by just literally trimming the armor to expose the underneath. Now on this side, a lot more effort. When I trimmed it, I had to trim around the cables and then reattach the cables. And I used that glue that works with infrared light. Then the infrared light then just basically closed it right up, and then I repainted it with the same color brown. That way then these are actually loose on here. And you can see it's just to connect the cables from the front to the back. That way I don't lose that cool aesthetic. Because I didn't want to lose that aesthetic, but yet have his arms go down to his sides. So, that is my unweaponized. So basically, you have him come up. And then all of a sudden, presto bango, he's ready for battle. So that's kind of the idea. You just swap the whole figure out as opposed to trying to swap each little thing individually and make it work. Alright, so I was thinking, you know, what about a pre-Rio Blast? And I was actually, I have lots of videos on this one already. And this is my pre-Rio Blast, before the cybernetics, before he was sheriff, before he really cared because he was not injured yet and didn't have cybernetic parts. Again, you can see the BraveStarr influence on his weapons there. And then, of course, I made a hat for him from Shape Boys. I figured a brown hat, not really a sheriff hat, just kind of like he's a villager. You know, some kind of cowboy. Now, being as a cowboy, cowboys need horses. So I need to still make his horse. But let me show you how he fits on the horse. It's kind of cool. Let's get him in the horse stance. Now, I'm using Bo's horse, just because I haven't made a horse for him yet. And let's just stick him on there. And there we go. How cool is that? Now I could be a ranch hand cowboy on the horse. And of course I still have to make him a horse just for him. Now, one thing I know is whenever you watch any shows like Lone Ranger or you watch BraveStarr or any other show, there's always a partner. Somebody that helps them, the lay of the land, somebody helps them around. So I really like, I'm a fan of Super Friends. And so I wanted to make a figure that would be his companion, his good friend, and there he is. So here's the figure right here. Basically I just use a standard He-Man buck, and then I just put the parts on from the Build-A-Figure. So there he is. And then of course you'll recognize the boots from the other figures as well. Alright, so people are texting me like, hey Chris, I don't know how I blanked out. What is the name of this guy? I know it's from Super Friends. Remember his name? Oh well, I'm thinking of his name. I actually do have the figure. So he says Enoch Chuck, and he becomes the full-size guy. Because obviously I'm going to keep him as the same character. So now I got a giant that's his friend. So how cool is that? Well, Chris has no idea what his name is. I cannot believe I forgot his name. I was thinking about it just right before I started this video. I can't believe that. Anyway, post in the comments what his name is, so that way then when people will know when they watch this video. I cannot believe I forgot his name. See, I'm a really good fan of Super Friends, aren't I? Can't remember the guy's name. All right, so that is my heroes, or not heroes. That is my Rio Blast, and again, you can see them all. Kind of a fun little setup. And of course, my favorite one is the new one. I'm sure you guys have seen the video already, but check it out. You can see the way I made them and all the parts that go with them. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And if you have any other questions, post them in the comments. And that's basically all I have. All right. And again, if you know the name of the figure I'm talking about, please post it in the comments so other people can see what his name is. I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyway, thanks again for watching. And hopefully you guys have fun with your own Rio Blast as well.